All right, so let's dive into our last module in the new Leisure Rules course, which is all about the role of the megatrend of experience. We're going to see how people sought out experience and novelty during the course of the pandemic and what it can teach us about experience in general. So within experience, this is really about the fact that people over the past couple of years have been more likely and more attuned to spending their money on the creation of memories rather than the acquisition of more goods. The driver here is one of escape. And of course, as you can imagine, there is quite a bit for people to want to escape nowadays. What was interesting is that I noticed that a lot of the most popular experiences that we saw over the course of the pandemic and over the course of the past year is that they tended to be rather extreme. They were either incredibly high intensity or on the low intensity scale by contrast. So let's start off with the high intensity experiences. This included things like virtual escape, which is where we saw these escape rooms really pivot to the online world. These are, of course, not only high intensity because of the stakes within these games that are, of course, made up, but also because they demand so much participation from the audience as well. Another one I want to highlight is the immersive Van Gogh exhibit, which I was lucky enough to check out in Toronto over last summer. What's so interesting about this is that, just so you know what it is, it's this huge, incredible art gallery where they're projecting videos of Van Gogh's work and really using music to bring the art to life. It is incredibly immersive, and basically, the company actually planned all of this pre-pandemic. They just got very lucky in the fact that, it happened to be something that paired nicely with social distancing. You could see they have those little circles on the floor to keep people apart, and it worked really, really beautifully with all of the restrictions that were in place. Now, I showed you that experience to really inspire you because I think at this time it can be easy to kind of use the pandemic as a way to let yourself off the hook in terms of what people's expectations are when it comes to entertainment. And I want to remind you, don't strive to create experiences that are just good, all things considered. Your experiences should just be good no matter what. Now let's talk about the opposite end of the spectrum, which is those low intensity experiences. We're seeing a lot of this sentiment that you see in this tweet become more popular. People really looking to slow down and kind of take themselves out of the rat race and all of the intensity that comes along with it. But with these low intensity experiences, I want to clarify that they're not boring. They're just a little bit different, a little bit slower than what we may be used to. One of the examples of a low intensity but not boring experience is the success of Animal Crossing New Horizons, which was a game that launched from Nintendo Switch last year. It became the second best-selling Switch game of all time. It's actually a nostalgia play. It was a relaunch of an existing game. And I think what's important about it is that it is called a life simulation game, where you basically live out this virtual life on this beautiful island that's incredibly escapist. What's most important of it, I would say, is that there was no high stakes challenges. There's no real end game in mind, which kind of alleviates the stress that could come along with that. I love this description from Sarah Fields of Game Rant about Animal Crossing. She says, it's a laid-back game that ultimately lets the player choose what they're going to do at any given moment, which was something that wasn't afforded to a lot of us over the past year. So you can see its appeal. Home cooking was another space that we saw gain a lot of traction and actually evolve quite a bit over the last year as well. We saw new faces like Selena Gomez getting into this space, the rise of Tabitha Brown on TikTok, who is incredible, and the home cooking podcast with Samin and Harishi, who are phenomenal. Home cooking in 2020 generally became more diverse, it became more casual, and it became popular on more platforms than ever before. But if you're not in this space, what can you take away from what happened here? Well, first of all, expertise is important, but authenticity is also really crucial. Secondly, in terms of that omni-channel play, consumers want more options than ever before when it comes to where they're taking in content. And lastly, I think home cooking was popular because it really helped people facilitate this highly sensorial experience that was kind of hard to get in the midst of all the pandemic restrictions that we were facing. When it comes to creating the future of entertainment with experience in mind, if people's experience and their emotional states continue to be extreme, their entertainment preferences will likely continue to reflect that. Secondly, escapism isn't just about creating a really thrilling experience. It can be about creating something much more subdued and subtle as well. So that is the wrap up of our third module in the new Leisure Rules course. We talked about the role of experience, and here are some questions for you to consider about the future of experience in the world of entertainment and leisure. Is your customer most in search of an exciting or a relaxing sense of escape? And how could you meet that need in a way that is safe? And if you were to create an escape-focused experience or offering, how could you make it different from what's already out there? So that takes us to the end of the new Leisure Rules course. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast teaching you all about the future of entertainment. If you're looking for more information, just check out the links below or get in touch with somebody from the Trend Hunter team. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.